I want to be like princess submissive. I want to be good girl. I want to be baby girl. I want to be treated so kind whilst you fucking use me and abuse me. You're listening to Fucksgiven, the one about being a good sub.
I'm trying to be sexy. I'm trying to be fucking sexy. I'm trying to do the, like, with the intro there. You're listening.
Yes.
You know. Don't you laugh at me. The humiliation.
You fucking love it. Reed, how are you today?
Yeah, I'm pretty good. I'm not fucking saying I'm tired. Like, I'm tired of saying I'm fucking tired, bro. Like, it's so boring.
Yeah.
It's so boring. So yeah, I'm feeling pretty good.
What have you got to update us on?
So exciting update, because I've got permission from Jacob to talk about this. Very exciting. Was me domming him for the first time, his first submissive experience.
Wow.
Yeah, which is really fun. Because I figured out that like I've been so confused with, am I a sub? Am I a switch? And I think I know I'm a sub, but I love domming doms.
Yeah.
Domming subs don't really do it for me, but domming doms on another map, oh my days.
The control, the power.
The hatred, like I love it so fucking much. And specifically tickling as well. So me being a Lee, them being a lure, and I love luring lures. It is like, especially such ticklish ones like Jacob, who fucking lost his motherfucking mind.
Did he?
Yeah, it was so fucking good. It's like one of the best tickle sessions I've ever given to someone.
Wow.
Yeah, it was.
Did
so
he
fucking good.
enjoy being sub?
So enjoyment, I don't know if enjoy is quite the word. It was a really good experience. He was saying that it was something because he knows, he was like, you know, to be a good dom, I know I need to sub to really see what it's like, to really feel that.
Yeah.
And one evening, funnily enough, we led on it because we had like a heated debate, and there was like a bit of a power exchange, and then we kind of got like hot and heavy, and I was like, hey, I'm not really feeling this subby role. And he was like, yeah, no, I'm feeling that. And I was like, I think I'm feeling like my dom energy. I was like, can I tie you up and tickle you? And he was like, okay, okay. And I was like, yeah, let's go now. And so yeah, tied him up to the bed, face down in like a crucifix position with his like legs together.
Wow.
Ankles tied, wrists tied. You know, it was really tightly bound. I tied his big toes together, because he was saying like, oh yeah, I don't think you're gonna get it out of me. I don't think like my feet are that ticklish. And I'm there like, little do you fucking know, you're fucked, mate. Like, I am a pro. And yeah, so kind of like got into his psyche, got into his head, you know, by dirty talking, being like, oh, you're gonna fucking hate this. You know, like, you think you're not that sensitive, but I'm gonna find all your little spots that drive you fucking crazy. You know, all this shit.
Did you?
And did I? Yeah. So like, yeah, he is extremely ticklish on his like ribs, torso, underarms.
Yeah.
And motherfucker, he lost his mind. He lost his fucking mind. And I did this game with him where I was tickling his feet, and I was using like oil and hairbrushes on his feet. And I was like, if you make a single sound in under 20 seconds, it was either 20 or 10, I was like, I am going to tickle your top half. And oh my God, I could tell he was trying so hard. He was also trying really hard not to break my restraints, because, you know, that boy's strong. And in the end,
got muscles. Yeah,
got them muscles. He did break my restraints. Yeah. He fully broke them.
Oh no.
I know, but it's okay. They'll survive. I've kind of semi-fixed it. They were going to break anyway, you know. So yeah, I finally got him to make like a whimpered moan, like, like trying so hard not to make that noise. And so yeah, I ended up sitting on top of him, and he lost his fucking mind, and it was the best thing ever. He was like, wait, you know, he was like fully freaking out. It was so good. Of course, we spoke about safe words beforehand, and the best thing about it was when we finally did stop, and he was like, he fully was submerged in subspace. So he was like there, he was like, whoa, he was like, what the fuck is this subspace? It feels like I'm on drugs. What the hell? He was like, I can't think, I can't do anything. And I was like, yeah, that's exactly it. That's what I feel like when you fuck the shit out of me, you know? And when I'm saying like, well, I'm really subspacey right now, like,
yeah,
you know, it's all like,
oh my god, it's actually really, really cool that he's experienced this.
Right, it was amazing.
Yeah.
He gets it. I don't think he's going to be jumping in sub mode anytime soon. He definitely feels the dom energy more, but like that was such a great experience. And on top of that, I ended up like fucking him dom style. Like even though he broke the wrist cuffs, I made him hold his hands up, and I was basically like teasing. I was sat on his cock, and we put like oil between us, so I was like rubbing my pussy over his cock up and down, teasing him, like dirty talking with him, like, you want this inside you, and had this like amazing slow fuck experience. And I voice noted you this because I was like, I dommed Jacob and put the wand. So, like, I was sitting on top of him. I put the wand on his chest, and I kind of half sat on the wand as well. And I came so fucking quick. Like, really quick, which was actually extremely surprising for me. Because in my head, I was like, I don't give a fuck about...
turned on by domming him.
Either that, or the pressure was off because I wasn't so focused on his pleasure and him coming, and I felt like, I'm just going to use you like a toy. You know, I don't really give a fuck about your pleasure. I don't care about your orgasm right now. I'm just going to use you for mine. It was like a whole switch. So I literally, I mean, I was G-spot coming all the way through because, you know, thank you body for getting me there. But the clitoral orgasm just popped off immediately.
That sounds heavenly. I love that, like, slow, deep, penetrative sex like that. I think there's something really cool about being on top and using the vibrator at the same time, because it does just kind of feel like you're like, I'm not moving enough for you to feel like that much right now. So it really is just, it's like, I'm for us.
My pussy is just like twitching and grabbing and clenching your cock, but I'm not actually riding it. It's just there, like soaking in my pussy juices.
Yeah. I actually weirdly did the same thing the last time I had sex last week to orgasm.
It's a good move. Like, we need to name this move. Maybe it's like, instead of the lazy bitch, it's like the unlazy bitch.
Well, it's like you've got what are they called? The
tripod.
No.
Oh, like a trident.
Yeah, trident.
Is that chewing gum?
Just like trying to think what the thing that
what does Ariel's dad have?
Yeah, that's what I was getting at. Because that's the wand, and you're kind of like sitting up upon a rock.
You're talking about, it's like a little mermaid moment.
Yeah.
You're like up on this rock.
Yeah, like Little Mermaid sitting on her rock, you know?
Yeah, it's on her rock getting like fucking splashed by the waves.
With her wand.
Hung you.
And it kind of is like that when you orgasm. You're like, fuck.
Because also when you come, you can't sit still as well. You're like,
no. Yeah, like jerking around.
It's like fucking buckaroo.
It is like maybe that's the name of the...
It's the buckaroo.
It's
I don't know.
No, that doesn't sound right either.
Because you're sitting there solid and you're not moving. You're just like kind of like grinding a little bit.
The wet mermaid?
Yeah, wet mermaid, or like the get up and go, or like the I own this. I was thinking, like the...
I love just being able to come on someone's dick though, without like needing... I don't want them to come during it. I'm like, no, you stay.
Yeah, you fucking stay. You hold that jism. I'm gonna get my fix.
And then they watch me do some crazy cum, and they're always like... like, what?
The wide-eyed, like, she okay, man? Are you okay? When it's like always, the possessed cum.
I always say something really stupid after cums like that as well. Like, oh, really needed that.
Stop! I'm dying, please. That's such a dad comment. I love it so much. Please.
I think that's literally what I said last week.
Fucking hell, dad mode. Dad
I was
mode
like,
on log.
haven't orgasmed like that in a while. How to turn someone off immediately.
Yeah, I mean, you like pat them, like getting off, like, thanks for that.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
I think I even did say like thank you.
I always thank.
Thanks.
I always thank. Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Daddy.
Thank you for blessing me with your penis.
Yeah. Actually, the guy that I fucked is not Daddy.
Yeah, fair.
Yeah. But that sounds really fucking good, Reed.
Thank you. It was really great. And I had to share it with you all, especially as this is the submissive episode where we wanted to talk about everything submissive, how to be a good submissive, what kind of tips we have, like what different types of submissive there are as well. Because it's a big old thing.
And we've been submissive for a long time now.
Yeah, we have. Well, yeah, I would say since I was sexual thoughts. They were always submissive thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, same. I used to have fantasies about... I was actually talking about this on one of my OnlyFans voice notes to people. I was, like, a fantasy that I've had for a really long time is being kind of, like, kidnapped, tied up. So I'm just, like, hanging in this, like... I don't know, like metal apparatus, kind of like sex swing kind of setup.
Yum.
And like I'm blindfolded and like people just come and use me.
Yeah, that's fucking hot.
And that's been one of my fantasies since I was probably way too young to be thinking about that.
Yeah. And I wonder where those fantasies come from. You know, is it the fact that we are women and we're supposed to be subservient in society? Is it that we watch like movies that have that in? Like, what is it that, why does that all boil down to? Because I do believe that most women, most vagina owners are submissive. You know, I'd love to know a statistic of like the subs to doms in the world. That would be really cool.
I mean, it would make sense because of the way that society has built, you know, like women have only had rights for a very short amount of time in history.
Yes.
So it is kind of in our genetics and our genes to have been treated as submissives for such a long time and to be used. So I wonder if it's actually partly in our makeup because it's in our DNA from the past, like however many...
actual DNA. I mean, you think about like going back to like caveman times, and I imagine that the men were dominant and the women weren't so much. But then that's not always the case in the animal kingdom. When you think about like, actually, wait, I was thinking about lions where the women go off and find the food, but the men are still the one that like the males are still the ones that kind of like rule the pack and eat the food that they've caught. And also there's a lot of animal non-consensual sex. Like a lot.
A lot, yes. Animals, do they even ask for consent? That is the question.
I don't think so. I don't fucking think so.
No. But then obviously there are some like races of animals that have the women being the more dominant partner. So
birds, you know, when like the birds choose a mate and they have to, you know, they consent to being shagged or not.
This is true. And the men are the ones that are like being all pretty and like dancing. Notice me. Like, look. I wish
like
men
the
were
birds
like
of
that
paradise. Yes, but then again, as saying that, it's not all birds. That's birds of paradise. So thinking about ducks, on the other hand, where like it's really bad. I'm gonna say the word like the duck rape is awful. Apparently awful.
What are we talking about?
I don't know. Isn't that why like DNA genetics, like some animals have, you know, like corkscrew vaginas, and then some animals have evolved to have corkscrew penises. Like I think it's ducks. I think ducks have corkscrew penises because of the rape situation in duck society. Yeah.
Wow, that is fucked up, ducks.
Yeah. Oh, bees! Oh my god, I know it's not the same, but like I've seen documentaries where sometimes the male bees end up killing the female bee because they're trying to mate with her.
Wow.
It's really sad, yeah. And I'm sure
That
there are
is
other
really
animals.
sad.
I can hear our audience now like shouting out all the fucked uppery that animals have given that they've seen.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, technically, right, we are animals. We are very intelligent animals, but we are still animals at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Ish.
And I think there's a huge part of maybe, especially now, where, you know, women do have more power and we have more like equality in the world. Not enough. But there's something in that like it's so anti-feminism that it's hot. Because it's like the dirty, the wrong, the shameful. You shouldn't let a man control you. So it's like, damn, that's fucking hot. Please control me.
Apparently, this is what my friend Alice Lovegood was telling me last night. There's a study about kink and fetish, and over in, I think it was somewhere in Scandinavia, like Sweden or something, they did this test asking a bunch of people about cuckolding. And cuckolding, nobody really thought about cuckolding. Cuckolding didn't come up in this test as a fantasy or as a kink for most people, occasionally. But they did the same test over in the US in like a predominantly Christian state, and cuckolding was the highest kink or fantasy that men thought about because of that, like the you know, the shame and the way that the society had been when over in Scandinavia, it might not even be Scandinavia, it might be Europe, I'm butchering this, but they were saying because like sex was so open and kinks were so widely accepted and it wasn't taboo, then it was like not even a thing.
Wow.
Yeah. So yeah, cuckolding is the dynamic between generally a couple, generally speaking, male-female couple, where the cuckold is the man who watches his female partner get fucked by other men. So it's kind of like a submissive role of, like, yeah, you have no control. I'm gonna fuck other guys. They're gonna fuck me better. They've got better dicks. They've got, like, you know, they make me come harder, and you have to sit there and watch it or hide in a wardrobe or whatever the dynamic is. The dynamic can swap as well. It can be different.
That's a very, like, submissive state for a man to be in as well.
Yeah, but, like, the shame of it, of course it's going to be a turn on. It's fucking hot.
You know what I put on? I have a new, like, OnlyFans baiting TikTok. And I put up a video because there's this trending audio that's, like, a guy saying, you're the most jealous woman I know, and then her reply is, you know other women. And I put like a little thing that was like, hot take, I think men want us to be this jealous. And a few people commented being like, we want someone to fight, like we want to know that someone would like fight for us, and then someone was like, yeah, because of this level of jealousy doesn't cheat. And it's like,
what?
So interesting.
That's fucking interesting. What do you mean this level of jealousy doesn't cheat?
I would say that level of jealousy is more likely to cheat.
Yeah.
Because you're like, if you think someone else is going to be fooling around, then you're more likely to do it yourself.
Yeah, and it's also not really about jealousy. Like, jealousy is all down to insecurities. If you're feeling insecure, then your security might be found in fucking another person. Oh my god, that's so fascinating. But I do enjoy the jealousy part. Like I enjoy that because I'm like, ooh, I feel jealous. Why do I feel jealous? Let's try and figure this out.
And you know what? When I've had partners in the past, my long-term relationship, and then someone said to the love bombing guy, have been like, yeah, I don't get jealous. Like, you know, it's not part of my DNA. And every time they've said that, I've been like, but I kind of want you to be slightly jealous. And my ex quarantine bae was quite jealous and not submissive, jealous and possessive. He wasn't submissive. No. And I liked that about him, because also it made me feel like he cared.
Cared and like goes against rationale because they like you so much. We're not condoning jealousy. Jealousy isn't a great thing, but it can be turned into something good. It can be turned into something sexy even. I feel like
Yeah.
Jacob and I are turning it into a bit of a kink of like,
Ooh.
oh, like I feel jealous, like I'm gonna make you jealous, or I'm gonna be hotter and better than the other person, you know, that kind of thing. I feel
Yeah.
like it can be really motivating to make yourself do better and be better.
I think it can be quite a healthy emotion to feel, but there's definitely levels of jealousy where it's like definitely not healthy, and it's all based in your own insecurities and like toxic masculinity in a lot of cases. Because in that case on the TikTok, I think like a lot of that would be based on toxic masculinity, of not feeling like man enough if your woman doesn't feel jealous of you talking to other women.
Yeah, or talking to other women, talking to other men, fucking other men, especially in the E&M community. And you're right about being not jealous at all. It's almost like if you're not feeling any jealousy, is that avoidance? Is that shutting down your emotions for a different reason?
Interesting. Because I think I want someone that like Quarantine Bay, who was like, yeah, I am a bit jealous, and that's because I really like you.
Yeah. It's good to talk about the jealousy. It's nice.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you're saying like, no, I don't get jealous, is that just people pleasing because you don't want to upset the other person? You know. Ooh, we've gone way off topic.
We have, or does it mean they're just not that into you?
Potentially.
But then I think a lot of people do say, yeah, I'm just not a jealous person.
Yeah, I used to say that. I used to say I still don't technically think I'm a jealous person.
Yeah.
But I'm more in tune. I'm now enjoying being more in tune. I don't think I recognised what jealousy was in the same way as I thought it was. And now I'm enjoying being in tune with that jealousy and being like, oh, feel a bit jealous. And like, I'm kind of, I don't know, excited to talk to Jacob about it. Be like, oh my God, I felt jealous. Oh my God.
It's
kind
of
like,
cute.
Oh my God. Yeah, it's kind of cute. Yeah. Yeah, it's cool.
Okay, yeah, off topic. Let's get back onto submission. I don't know how we went into jealousy. It's because of the cockholding thing.
You were saying your earliest memories of kind of sex and being turned on was submissive. I mean, extreme submissive as well. You're like,
extreme,
you know, bondage, cage.
Yeah. But I don't think I got to experience being properly submissive for a long time when it came to my sex life. I think like I don't think I experienced it until we started Come Curious, and I went on those dates with that guy that I met from the camming website.
Oh fuck yeah.
And then we played with like, he brought like spreader bar and like restraints and a ball gag and like all this shit, and I was like, wow. And he hit me and I was like, I fucking love it. He asked, obviously, and it was like a light slap in the face, but I was like, whoa,
into this.
Like, I am wet. And I was dripping. Like, I have never been so turned on that I had full on wetness dripping down my leg.
Yeah, that's hot. Yeah, it's like, when you're like finally feeling in a safe space to just go a bit wild.
Yeah,
but there are
was
different
not
levels.
in a safe space.
Oh.
In terms of like, I met this dude from a fucking campsite. He could have been anyone.
But it's no different to meeting somebody on a dating app. Except more so because you actually got to know this guy way before you met him.
True. Yeah.
I feel like maybe we're discoloring this guy because he's in the sex worker world. You know, we see him as
because he was paying for service.
Perverted. It's exactly the same with my sex work. Exactly the same. Loads of people are like, oh my God, but the safety. I'm like, how is it any more unsafe to me meeting a goddamn random stranger off of a dating app?
Because I'm saying that I was more unsafe because I was the sex worker in that situation, even though it wasn't like, you know, it wasn't paid for service. We were literally just dating.
Yeah.
It was, I'm still seeing myself as less safe because of that.
Right. That's really fascinating. Yeah. And it isn't. I think it's the stereotype of what we put on people who pay for sex or pay for sex.
Yes.
Like they must be perverts.
Yeah.
They must be dangerous, because all we ever fucking hear is violence against sex workers.
True. And I like, you know, I've developed way further since then. And now I'm like, I would fucking pay for sex.
Absolutely.
I've got friends that pay for sex.
I feel more safe meeting up with a client than I do like somebody off of a dating app, for sure.
Yeah.
Especially if they're submissive. especially because I know that I'm fully in control, and I know that they're not going to do anything to fuck around because they know who I am. They don't want to ruin the service or the experience.
Yeah.
Definitely. But like, of course there are exceptions to the rule, and shit things do happen, but also shit things fucking happen on dates with people you love and know shit things fucking happen.
Yeah, this is very true. We've also gone off topic again.
We have. Today is a tangent episode.
Fuck it is. Rambly tangent episode.
But I love this. It's good topics. Good stuff.
Yeah, it's all really good things to talk about. But it's because submission can be so many things, and it like brings up so much about like ourselves, what we like, our experiences, because being submissive in sex is such a vulnerable space to be in, and you need to make sure that you're, you know, doing it with the right people. But we've all had situations where we've experimented and we've like done things where we might not have felt like totally safe and trusted the partner.
Being submissive is almost a bit like trial and error. You won't know you're not into something until you give it a go and you realize that's not your thing, or you don't like the way that feels. I mean, obviously, if you were thinking like, no, I don't want to do that, like, I don't know, I don't want like a fucking hive of bees stinging me on my ass. I know I don't want that, but it is about testing your boundaries and your limits in a safe space with somebody that you can trust.
Yeah. So how do you know that, how did you know that you were submissive? Like, what was the things that came to mind that you were like, okay, this is what I really enjoy when it comes to sex?
Okay. Some of my first fantasies around being submissive were always based in school. It was always the teacher-student dynamic. I loved that fantasy. I couldn't escape from it. I loved watching films where there was always like a perpetrator and a victim, you know, like horror films, thriller films. I always loved the villain. I always fantasized about being, kidnapped by the villain. And my first ever fucking orgasm was looking at my brother's PlayStation 2 magazine where a character was holding a gun to that audience, and I was like,
oh yeah,
I was like masturbating over him. I was imagining that he was holding the gun to my head, you know.
Wow.
When I was like, I must have been like 14, maybe younger. Oh yeah, it was 14 for my first orgasm, but definitely way before then I was having fantasies around being submissive.
I wonder if like I was like megally emo when I was a kid, and there's something intertwined with being alternative and slightly gothy that kind of leads into more kink, I would say.
Yeah, I think you're right. There's got to be some science behind it, because I feel like a huge part of that is enjoying the alternative side of things, the darkness, knowing that there is something bigger, something more than what is just put in front of you. Yeah,
because kink is dark. It is dark. Yeah. Like, we're messing around with things that are about like non-consensual, non-consensual, trauma, like restraining, like kidnapping, like doing things, like being forced to do things, choking, things that are like close to someone like abusing you, you know?
Yeah, well, it's close to fucking violence, but that's also why we like it, because it's the shame of it. It's like
pain and pleasure.
Yeah, being pain and pleasure, and also being told that this is bad and this is not good, and it's something that's so against, you know, most of us are into this shit before we even realize it's bad or good. It's just we're into it, and then we're like, oh, people don't actually normally do this. Oh fuck.
I used to like get off on fantasies about like people just doing what they want with me. Yeah, all the time.
Like the used fantasy. Yeah. And I think it's so normal, and I think I do feel that society has formed a huge part of that, and how we feel. You know, like there is a real shortage of female, or I should say non-male doms, female doms, non-binary doms, trans doms. We don't get it as much. And I don't think there's a shortage in male subs though. I feel like there are so many male subs.
And I think a lot more people want to be submissive than they let on to themselves.
Yes. Or they like the lifestyle and they're like, I like this, I'll be dom. And it's only until they feel really comfortable and comfortable in their sexuality and their masculinity, then they might try being submissive without it feeling like it's impacting on themselves and their identity and how they portray themselves. But that can take fucking ages. Like, I was terrified the first time I played dom. Didn't really know what I was doing. I was nervous. I was like, fuck, this doesn't come
scary.
Yeah, it doesn't come naturally to me at all. Maybe that's it. Maybe it's about what comes naturally to you.
Yeah, and what's really interesting, I think, is that a lot of guys that do dom don't hit women in the face, and they have like a weird thing against that, and they're just like, I can't do that. But it's like, why can you do all of the other things but not that? What, like, where's the line?
Where's the separation? How, like, where is the line? Where is it too much to cross over the line? You know, you can spank somebody's ass without consent because it's funny, but you won't smack me in the face when I actually ask you to.
Yeah, and I also, this is very true, like, literally non-consensually smack you in the ass, squeeze your bum,
I hate
like,
that
touch
so
you
fucking much.
Whenever. And then they don't do something when you're like, I really want you to do this to me, because it's more about them and they're being really selfish. But also, do they just know that, like, they kind of want to do it and they're like, no, this is so wrong?
I don't know. I don't know if it's just selfishness. I feel like there is something inherently in that that's going, I don't feel comfortable with this.
Yeah. The guys, for me, that have said that they won't ever do that have been very judgmental of guys that do it.
Which is just, you know, that it's the judgment, isn't it? Because it's like, if it's something that you both consent to as consenting adults, there shouldn't be a judgment at all. They're judging on an idea of what that person is.
They're like, how could you get off on that? Like, how could you get off on that?
How could you fucking get off on half the fucking shit that we get off on?
Exactly.
You know, it's just, like, stop the judgment. People are just into fucking weird shit.
Well, I don't know what the difference is by choking someone and hitting them in the face. To me, choking someone is more brutal than hitting them in the face, because hitting them in the face isn't going to kill them. Choking someone could kill someone.
Yeah, especially when done stupid.
So it's like, if you get off on choking someone and not hitting them in the face, then that doesn't add up in my brain.
Is it porn, though? Is it just because of the porn we watch? You know, we see choking. It's so fucking normalised in porn, in hardcore porn. Less so the face slapping. You do see it quite a bit, but less so. Choking is just always there, it seems like. Maybe that's just like an insight on what kind of porn I watch and what I grew up with. It's a real tough one. But yeah, there are different types of submission as well. You know, you were saying you didn't first experience being submissive until you had somebody there that was willing to do a scene with you, that was willing to like get the ball gag and like the flogger and whatever else they use, the leg spreader.
Ooh, you know what? Would you call being submissive, like, I used to do like vampire roleplay with one of my first boyfriends. That's kind of submissive.
See, this is what I was about to say. Because, like, thinking about the submissive stuff that I did with boyfriends, that was just, like, light. You know, it was, like, a bit of light tying up or a bit of, like, power play in the dark. Or, actually, no, it was, like, really extreme, like, porn-esque power play. But, yeah, you know, if you're playing with a vampire fantasy where you're playing the damsel in distress and they're there to bite you, I feel like that's definitely an element of submission.
Yeah, it is. Because you're the one receiving the pain as well.
Maybe that's why we're subby as well, you know, all the fucking vampire films and fucking
love vampire shit.
All of the films that portray women as weak damsels in distress. And I'm sitting there wet, like, I want to be her so much. Like, that's not a good fucking example for me.
No.
It's not a good example for anyone.
No. Yeah, it's a weird one. Although my, like, favourite damsel in distress is in the one in Hercules, because she had an attitude.
Megara was amazing. She is dope. She's fucking dope. But she's still a damsel in motherfucking distress, and it still turned me on, man. But it's still like, she was bratty. She was fucking bratty.
Oh my god, she was a brat. She was a submissive brat.
Full submissive brat. Subby brat. She fucking loved it.
Yes. Maybe
Yes.
I watched Hercules a lot.
Yeah, Hercules is one of the best. Yeah. I mean, there are some other films where, I don't know, they're all pretty fucking subby, aren't they?
Yeah.
Except Mulan. Mulan's dope.
Yeah. Okay, so as much as like what inspired us and where our submission came from, how do we now be a good sub?
A good sub, yeah. And this is very, like a good sub. We don't know how to be good subs or the best subs. Like, we are still learning. It is still very much a learning process. And also, like, we can only really do what we feel's best for us. That's not necessarily best for each dom or each other person that we're with. This might not fit into anyone else's book.
I feel like the top tip that I would have is knowing that you're the one that has control.
Yeah. So yeah, if you are the submissive, you should feel like the one ultimately that has control. Like, you are the one with the safe words, you are the one with the traffic light system. Your dominant, the person doming you, will not go past the point that is unacceptable. Of course, there's also playing around with going past safe words. Like, I'm enjoying that kind of play at the moment. But still, ultimately, you feel safe in that environment. It has been it's been a created environment for you to have that kind of play. But if you do genuinely feel uncomfortable or scared, then you are not in control, and there's something off here. You should be the one in full control, even if it doesn't feel like it. I would also say that knowing who you are, knowing your limits, knowing what you like and don't like. I think a dangerous sub is someone that says, I have no limits, do anything you like to me. That is scary. That is not safe. Like, knowing that you don't like to be choked is amazing, and putting it out there. Yeah. Or knowing that, like, you don't like a bag on your head, or you don't like non-consensual role play, really stating that and knowing it and not being afraid to state it as well, I think is really powerful.
Yeah. Or even if you don't know particularly, just be like, okay, like, I want to explore this, but having said that, like, I might really not like this, and just being able to communicate the level of exploration that you want to do with someone as well, and having like a really in-depth conversation about what you want to try, where you want to go. Like, I think this should be every single like sub and dom's conversation before a whole scene is like, okay, where are we going to take this?
Yeah It's not just the dominant's role to make sure that you're the one being safe, that you're the one that's like expressing your limits. Like, it's also on you. It's really important that it's on you. It's the same with the aftercare. It is important that submissives get aftercare because of subspace, but doms also get dom drop, and they also might need aftercare too. It's really important knowing what kind of aftercare you like. Whether or not that's, for me, I figured out that I don't really want to be touched immediately afterwards. I like, no, don't touch me. But then later on, I want cuddles and affection. And I also want like a 3 days later text message asking me how that went.
I think that's what I learned in the last year, was to communicate effectively before the scene what you would desire for aftercare. Because I had an awesome fucking scene on my birthday and didn't get the aftercare that I wanted after it. And I was fully in subspace, and all I needed was someone to hold me, and I wasn't able to communicate that properly afterwards, because I just, like, in subspace you're like, oh, I don't know, I'll just stay here and like you know.
You can't think, you can't make decisions or choices, you just like, whoa.
You don't want to say like, hey, can you come over here and cradle me?
Cuddle me. But like, we should be able to say that. We should need to say that, or at least, like you said, talk about it beforehand. But now that that's happened, now that you've realized that you needed that, like, you're going to say it to the next person. It's
really fucking annoying, because I like remember that scene quite a lot when I am masturbating and stuff, and I'm like, it went so deep. Like, I was like being choked and fucking slapped in the face, and when you just feel like your eyes are all watery and you're just like a mess, and I'm like, that was hot as fuck. Like so hot.
But yeah, like needed that aftercare.
Yeah, I like felt abused in that situation, but in a way that I wanted.
Yes. And even though it was hot, turned you on, but afterwards when you have like the post nut clarity and you're like, oh fuck, am I okay? And you also guilt sometimes, the guilt and the shame of being into something so extreme can really creep up on you, can creep up on both of you.
Yeah,
like,
and I wondered if he felt that way afterwards as well, like, whoa, like why did I get off on that?
Yes, yeah, and we don't talk about it, and it needs to be talked about. When I'm playing submissive, I love getting into the non-consensual psyche, and I've done this before with one night stands, where I've, in the middle of fucking, I've been like, how do you feel about me saying like no and stop? And they're like, yeah, okay. But afterwards, I need to double check in, because doing it in the moment is not good enough. I need to check in afterwards and be like, hey, just to remind you, that was something I wanted and I enjoyed that. You're not a bad person. You know, I even do it now with Jacob, especially if it gets so fucking extreme. And I'm like, some of the shit that I'm like, it hurts. Why are you doing this to me? Please stop. You know, like afterwards I have to literally be like, you know, that was role play. I loved every moment of it. You're a good person. I enjoyed that thoroughly, you know, like really reiterate, because it can fuck people up.
And those conversations really do need to happen. It needs to be like, I think it almost needs to be consented to, because I did something stupid recently. Like quite often I have role play with people where I'm like, oh, I want you to come inside me. And obviously I'm not on birth control and sometimes not using protection. And I did it with the love bombing guy.
Fuck, and man, I feel you.
He came inside me. And luckily it was like on my period, and I was like, okay, this is probably like the best time for that to have happened. But I did not fucking mean actually do it. But I didn't communicate that first.
No, like in the moment, you're like, come inside me, but you're just, oh my god, imagine, like, no, don't actually come inside me.
I don't.
This is supposed to know. Oh, yeah, complicated. You know, we say shit in the moment that we might not even fucking mean. You know. Yeah. So it's always good to have the pre-sex chat, the during sex chat, the post-sex chat, and even like the few days later when you've all processed that shit chat. Yeah. It's like I've always said no to flogging, no to impact play, don't want it, don't like it. But now at the moment I'm like, okay, maybe I'll give it a go. Maybe I will try. But like, that's scary. And you need to do it with someone you feel safe and comfortable with. Yeah. Also, I need to bring this up. Words, being called certain words. So like, I had this really good chat recently with Jacob about it. Like, what kind of nasty names do I like being called in bed? And I was like, oh, really difficult, because with my ex, I fucking hated him saying anything like slut, whore, bitch, absolutely hated it. But when Jacob does it, it's quite a turn on. So it's also thinking about who that person is. Do you actually feel safe with that person? Do you actually feel like they truly believe you're not a bitch, whore, or slut? You know?
Yes.
So
yes.
it's like,
because some people say it and you're like, oh.
Yeah, like that actually hurts.
Mean that?
Yes. Like, especially, oh my god, and it's, you know, like the after argument sex. And if they play around with that and they're calling you like, yeah, you fucking slut. And you're like, oh, there's like, it feels like there's some malice in there. It feels like there's some real feelings. It's so complicated because it's such a fine line, but that's why communication is really fucking
I
important.
don't like any language like that during sex, being submissive. Like, that's not what turns me on. I want to be like princess submissive. I want to be good girl. I want to be baby girl. I want to be treated so kind whilst you fucking use me and abuse me.
Yes, and that's what I mean by like different types of submissive. You know, you've got like bratty submissive, or like what's it called? What's your type of submissive called? It's like
princess,
pillow princess,
I don't know. What is that called?
Or like, you know, it's like praise kink kind of.
It is the
looking
praise
after
kink.
You. And then there's also like the DDLG kind of submissive, where you're playing quite young, or like, you know, they make the decisions for you kind of thing. And then there's like my fucked up type of submissive, which is like super CNC. Like,
Yeah.
and that's the only thing I get up on. I actually don't like I don't think I like praise kink anymore. I'm done with it. It takes me out of the headspace.
Fuck.
Yeah, you know, it's like good. Actually, no. No, I think good girl sometimes. It depends. Good girl has to. No, it takes me out of it. I want like shh, just take it. Just fucking take it. I'm horny, man. I'm fucking horny.
I'm so horny. This conversation has made me so horny. It's made me think like I just need to find like what you were saying the other day. I need to find my kink community here.
Yes, kink community.
And just explore
the safest,
some
best
stuff.
people. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like, it's and just like like-minded people where you just don't feel like a fucking weirdo, you know?
Yeah.
It's okay feeling like a weirdo. And I know we're talking a lot about females being submissive here, and I know that's not fair because there are a lot of penis owners that feel like they want to be submissive. And I wish we had more advice, but I think,
it's hard to come from our point of view on all of that.
It really is. It's just about communicating. You cannot communicate enough with this stuff. It is so important. It's hard. So if talking about it in person doesn't work, you know, write a letter, send a text message, send a voice note, find a video, send them this fucking podcast, you know, podcast episode. That can be really helpful.
Yeah.
But yeah, let yourself be known and heard that being submissive doesn't make you a bad person. It doesn't make you any less of a feminist. It doesn't mean that you agree with that type of behavior outside of a safe environment. You know, this is in the fantasy safe world. This is when it's okay. So yeah, you just gotta own being subby if that's the thing that you love.
And join our Facebook group full of like-minded people if you want to connect with other people that are into kink, because the curious fuckers.
Oh my goodness,
we are kinky.
Yes, we want all the subs into that group, please.
Oh, my friend in London messaged me yesterday saying that there's a new London kink sex party happening.
Oh my god,
Riot something.
Fucking Alice is going to that on Saturday.
Yes.
Yeah. It looks really good. I'm going to a swing hub launch party.
Oh.
I'm excited. Yeah, for like the swingers. I'm very excited.
Cool.
Yeah. It's black tie, so gonna be dressed up to the fucking nines.
But yeah, maybe that's the thing with being submissive and being kinky in general, is that you just need to find your community and like talk to other people about feeling the same way and being into the same things, because it does make you feel so much better and more seen, more heard, and not like strange and weird. And it is completely normal to feel all of these things.
Yeah,
so yeah,
very, very normal. I also think if you have any kind of sub or dom bone or feeling in you, or switch feeling, you know, like looking for the right people to indulge with, because if you don't, then you might just be feeling unsatisfied, sexually unsatisfied, like I was for a long, long time. I think it is really important to find your community, find those people you can play with, and really just the best people are the ones that you can say your deepest, darkest, most fucked up fantasies to, and they're like, yeah, man, me too. Like, that's great. Oh my god, that makes so much sense. Or like, I wouldn't do that myself, but yo,
I think
cool.
I've been denying myself.
Yeah, maybe
that's why I'm depressed, because I'm just denying myself kinky sex.
Maybe. I feel like it's really unsexually
It's part of my
satisfying.
personality.
I mean, think about the most satisfying fucks that you've had or experience that you've had around sex. Like, do they revolve around kink, or have they been just the vanilla stuff?
Both. Like, definitely kinky stuff is like high up there, but then obviously some of the best sex that I had was with Quarantine Bay, just like galaxy, like you enter another galaxy, closeness, slow sex.
Yeah. Like, I'm on drugs kind
Deep,
of sex.
I'm in love sex.
Yeah, I feel you.
Yeah.
It's not.
That's different though.
No, well, yeah, maybe it is. It's like a whole separate section of itself. Like, you don't
Yeah.
need kink when you have that kind of sex.
You
I take
don't.
it back. I take it back. I'm sorry. I can't.
You were like, you do. I
can't.
need fucking.
I need kink to survive.
Yeah.
Also, being a sub is very exhausting. I know we've talked about sub drop and dom drop, but just like making sure if you are gonna have sex, if you are having a scene, then have ample time to rest.
Yeah.
Don't do what I did yesterday, where I went and had a tickle scene with someone and then went off and did a whole content day. I was fucking exhausted. I'm exhausted
that's a
today.
lot.
Actually, I was fine yesterday. I feel fucked today. Fuck.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense.
And a bit sad. I was a bit sad. I have like the sub drop and I need cuddles, man.
Need cuddles.
And I got fucked out with the strap on last night as well. I don't know how I pulled out the energy. Bro. Where's my aftercare? And it was like hefty fucking me.
I'm so horny.
You need
me
to join the BDSM kink speed dating, please. And just, okay, if you don't want to do it by yourself, just do it for the pod, man. Do it for the pod.
Okay, I've got a friend that I think will go with me.
Yeah, journalistic exploration. Please, because I need you to go, because it's fucking interesting. I went to a kink speed dating thing when I was in LA, staying with Florence. But Florence, you were too poorly, weren't you? You weren't feeling well.
Because we had the COVID. I'm pretty sure we had
COVID.
I'm pretty sure we had the COVID.
Oh, the vid, man.
Yeah.
But yeah. There's got to be some more stuff. Maybe not even that one, but
yeah.
Just use
I'll
it
look
as an
into
excuse to.
I've got kinky friends out here. I just need to do the activities. I just have too much social anxiety.
Yeah, that's fair.
But anyway, I hope you curious fuckers enjoyed this episode on how to be a good sub. We have been talking for probably way too long at this point. But if you enjoyed this episode, share it with everyone that you think will also enjoy it. Share it far and wide.
Yes. We love talking about all things kink. And if you have any big questions for us, always feel free to ask us. Like we are here to answer your questions, so please DM us on the Instagram. You can keep up to date with our stories and our posts.
If you've got any kinky stories, like fuck off stories, we should start the fuck off stories again.
Oh my goodness!
I don't know why we stopped
the fuck
that.
off stories.
We need fuck off stories.
Yeah, they
so
were
curious
great.
fuckers.
Okay,
whatever's going on, the kinkier the better. We love it.
Yeah, we want kink. We love kink. And of course, you can follow us at Come Curious and our personal accounts, Florence Bark and Read Amber X.
And as always, leave a rating and a review because it helps get this pod into more people's ears and helps people have better sex lives. That's what it's all about.
Beautiful. We love it. We love it. We love you all so much.
Love you so much.
And yeah, see you next week. Tuesday, Thursday. Fucking hell. I'm never going to get that, bro. I'm never... Can I just say cunt and then be done with it, yo?
Bye.
Bye. Mwah.